But one of the things that I wanted to do to modify Dotty and just make her a little bit more comfortable was to have some seat heaters. I'm a softie, I know, but yeah, I'm nearly 50. I bought these on eBay. They all seem about the same, really. It's a bit of cotton with a carbon wire that runs through with the connector at the end. And Jim's running the wiring for the other end at the moment in the car, and he'll show you that slightly later. But from what I understand, it's just a case of peeling off the self-adhesive pad at the back and then sticking them down onto the seat base. We also have one for the back of the seat, and just making sure that the wire tucks in where the seat squab and seat back join, and then they'll be able to run through down the side of the transmission tunnel to the switch, which we're going to house in a new little center console, which Jim is going to fabricate a little bit later using CAD, cardboard aided design. But I'm going to have a go sticking that down and yeah, see how it goes. So yeah, just sticks down like that. Seems to be held in place, but I think I'll run a little bit of gaffer tape just around here, keep the wire in place just to stop that getting snagged up or something. But so far, after 30 seconds, it seems to be holding in place. Obviously, the vinyl seat cover will be over the top and my bottom will be on it, so it shouldn't go too far. Now let's go and do the same on the back squab. And then, yeah, I'm going to lay the same heating pad, sort of, so that it comes down across here. It's a much better fit, actually. This one, and that will run down. And again, poke the wire down where the squabs meet, tucked under. Come on. Yeah, this one's not sticking as well, so I'll give it a help. You can see here where the wire just sticks out, and that will get connected Obviously you have to be careful of the seat runners when you fix it back down.
Okay, so part of the seat heating kit that we're using comes with a pre-assembled wiring loom. So we've got a relay and connectors here that will connect to the heating pads fitted to the squab and the seat backrest. The wiring's then going to run forward, and we've got a 2-position little rocker switch which we're going to fit in the switch panel that we're going to manufacture under the dashboard. So having removed the seats, we're going to fit the relay, we think, down at the bottom of the floor pan here, allowing the cables to hang free. We can run the wiring under the edge of the carpet, and I'm going to secure it down against the metalwork in here with a couple of P-clips just to keep everything in position. So one of the first things I want to fit is a little retaining screw just to hold this relay in place. So before we drill the fixings, I've had a little check behind the car here just to make sure that we're not going to be interfering with anything that might be on the other side of the floor pan there. And drill a little hole there, and we'll pop in a stainless self-tapper. Let's get a screwdriver. So I've got our seat heater relay. So I would have liked ideally to have put the relays up under the dashboard somewhere, but without sort of completely rebuilding the wiring loom, that wouldn't have been possible. So I think we'll work with what we've got. So fitting the relay down low there, and the wiring will take round, and I want to try and end up with it out of sight if we can. Right down against the bottom of the transmission tunnel there. So I picked up a supply of little plastic P-clips, which we'll use to secure over the top of the wiring, and that'll hold them quite nicely, I think. So I'm just having a look to see where we can get access in at the bottom of the floor pan there. It's always a good idea to mark the holes so you know exactly where it is that you're working. So it's a little bit difficult to see, but we've got a P-clip in there onto the side of the transmission tunnel now. Just tightening that up. Apologies for the noise in the background. You can't get the staff. All they do is complain all the time. Yeah, it's not nice stuff, is it? The aerosol upholstery adhesive. So while I'm screwing the wiring to the floor pan here, Matt is outside rebuilding the seats and fitting the heating pads to them. And as you heard then, complaining while he does it. I don't know. Give him sunshine, I give him bacon sandwiches, give him coffee. some people are never satisfied. So we're popping the wiring down there out of the way, just to keep it sort of nice and neatly protected. May just put another P-clip in a little bit further forward, I think, down here somewhere, just to make sure that we're keeping the wiring sort of neat and tidy. So again, a little bit further forward here. And we'll connect up the wiring here, pop a P-clip on that. Okay, so the floor mat's back in place. We've got the wiring run nice and neatly down there. So what I've got to do now is just extend the wiring. This part of the loom is not quite long enough. So we're going to extend the wires to bring them up to behind the center console. And what I'll do is I'll also fit the inline fuse. I'm going to move the inline fuse a little bit further up to behind that center console again, just for ease of access. I really don't want anything behind the carpets at all that could cause us any issues. So I picked up some cable. It is a little bit over spec for the job, I think, but it's what I had to hand. Put a little bit of heat shrink on there. Then a crimp-on bullet connector. Okay, it feels better. Put that in just to tidy things up a little bit. Pop a little bit of heat shrink over there, and then once we're happy with everything, we can heat that using the little gas torch just to settle everything down. So allow myself a good amount of extra wire on there. And I've also got the earth terminal, which the ground wire here, which I will similarly extend. So we'll do that much the same way as the first. Okay, so I've run the seat heating wiring through to where it's going to be its new position behind the center console. So I've had to extend some wires. This is basically to allow the switch position to be mounted into the center console. So we'll be mounting the three position, or yeah, I suppose it is three position, off, low and high switches into a switch panel down here. So I've extended the wiring and I've brought in the live power feed, which I've connected in further down the loom to give us switch live power when we're ready to work. So what I need to do is inside that switch panel, there will be an inline fuse, or the inline fuse holder there, which will fit into the system just to give a bit of extra protection on the system there. So for the moment, I'm calling that it with the wiring. We've done about everything we can. I've also added another earthing point at the top here, which gives us just a position to attach the earths for the seat heating wiring. And I've gone through the loom. I've made a couple of repairs, extended, reconnected the wiring for the near side passenger courtesy lamp switch, which had somehow been disconnected. So tidied up a few little bits of wiring, replaced a bit of the horn wiring, which I did previously just using black wire. So I've now managed to get some of the correct purple with white tracer. So I've replaced that wiring just so it looks a little bit more OE. So what we're going to do now is move on to the next thing, which is to refit the dash that Matt's painted. So I'm then going to do a video on that. We'll spend a little while fitting the gauges up, and then I can move on and start building the switch panel down here and get the switches mounted so that we can give everything a proper test.
Okay, well, we got the seats all fitted. I think we'll have to wait till the weather's a little bit better before we test if they get warm, but that'll be a test for video later on in the year.
Do we want the weather to be colder rather than warmer?
Warmer, colder?
Colder, to
I
test
don't
to see
know.
it, unless you really want to set your bum on fire.